Yo, what up? What up? Let's see, put that down. Press some shirts. What up, man? What up? Jason Enns, what's happening, bro? Denise, Ramon. We're gonna be pressing some shirts up today. Got a few different orders. Jose Menez, what up? Rod Lewis, Aquario, Matt, Frank's Custom Tees, Boostin, Tristan. Yeah, man. So we got shout out to my wife. Hooked it up with a Pendleton sign. About to hang this up. But we're gonna press some shirts. We got churro shirts. We got LA Riders shirts. We got a bunch of different stuff. Wanted to show you guys a sample packet from FM Expressions. So if you see in the back, I got t-shirts. It's a bunch of gray t-shirts, size large, because I got a few orders of these in. So I'm just trying to pull them out and get them ready, because the press is heating up right now. Size large. A large black. One, two, three. Cool. All right. Let's see here. Hold on. I started this shit before I even was actually ready to even go live, but fuck it. Boostin, Jose Menez, Tristan, Rob Great, Donaldo, what's happening? Doroteo, Edgar. Big Daddy got a question. Go for a post office open tomorrow. Hopefully. I'm hoping, but I'm not exactly sure. I think not Veterans Day, President's Day, something like that. Out of curiosity, would you get a face tat? Nah, probably not. I got my sideburns done. It's still on my head though, but not on my face. Well, never say never. Who knows? But as of right now, I don't have no plans for it. Alpha Die, what's up, brother? G6 Customs, what up? G6 Customs just got added to the Facebook group too. 10 Salvador, what's up? Plugged in, what's happening? Danny Cole World. Trying to decide where to buy a desktop screen printing machine for tabletop or a heat press. Wait. I'm trying to decide where to buy a desktop screen printing machine for tabletop or a heat press. Heat press will fit on any table. Screen printing machine, meaning actual screens and shit like that, that's going to be pretty hard to find. You would have to hit up a screen print supply store. But as far as heat presses, you could go through the links in any of my videos. In the description box, I got links for everything. Episode 3 of the podcast will be recorded tonight. Here's the mic. I will be recording that tonight, so it'll probably go live tonight or tomorrow night. I'm just starting out, few sales, and I'm expanding. Very dope. What kind of print do I use? I don't use a printer at all. I don't print none of my own transfers. I get them done. Do you still sell your lessons on how to create your clothing brand? Yeah, so I still have the ebooks on bigbrando.com. I also have the Patreon where I'm showing a lot of the shit that I'm doing, so you can learn through there too. How do I make custom heat transfers for my heat press? You could get yourself a vinyl cutter, get them done, you know what I mean? So vinyl cutter would help. Arlene W, what's happening? Chewy916, what's up? Podcast has been great, can't wait. Jason Enns, I appreciate that, brother. Mark H, what's up? Iconic Apparel, what's happening? So whoever was asking about the screen print, tabletop screen print setup, I don't know of any online suppliers. The places that I do know out here in Los Angeles are just in Los Angeles, so you would have to just I don't know, you would have to go to Los Angeles and take a walk down Main Street and then find a spot. But as far as heat presses are you could get through Heat Press Nation, which is the links in every single description box. Did you mention you have a Facebook group? Yeah, the Facebook group can be found through Patreon. There's a press on Amazon, $200, and it's a 2-station. Tristan Danner, there you go. Facebook group can be found through Patreon. Other than that, that's the only way to gain access to the group. There's a lot of people that just find it on Facebook and try to request it, but you have to request to gain access to the group is through Patreon. How do I make custom heat transfers for my heat press? Yeah, the best way to do it is probably get yourself a vinyl cutter, Cricut, or a Cameo. I use a Cameo, works perfect, very inexpensive. Is it difficult to convert regular pics or sketches to EPS vector files? Not sure if I really need to hire a graphic designer just for that. eSlows, you could get it done through Illustrator. If you have Illustrator, they have a thing called Live Trace in there. So you put the image in there, and then it'll live trace out the image. If it's multicolored, it will be a little difficult to do, but if it's just a single color, it's easy. So turn the picture black and white, and then and when I say black and white, I don't mean grayscale where it's like gray and shit. I'm talking about just strictly black with a white background, and then it'll do it. Or you could use places like vectormagic.com. You pay them like 20-30 bucks depending on the design, and they'll turn it into a vector for you. Boost in patreon.com/Big Brando. I appreciate that. Jesse Jungle World, howdy. What's happening? Victor, what's up? Pressing hoodies right now. Very dope. About to start pressing. I'm waiting for this shit to heat up. Came to check you out real quick. Just finished setting up my 6-color screen press. Very dope. Thanks for starting me out with the lessons and information with vinyl. Now I'm excited about doing this ink. Yeah, man. Spike Burles. Screen printing, fun as fuck, man. That shit's a fun thing. Besides making money and shit like that, just printing in general is fun. It's addicting. Do you know who does customer transfers? Customer transfers, I'm not exactly sure what that is. Transfers for your customers. You could go through places like Ends Print Co., shit like that, or you could check out the list on bigbrando.com. Which method, screen or heat press, cost-wise? It all depends what you want to do. If you're trying to do bulk orders, screen printing, but you have to remember what goes into screen printing. You need to understand that you need somewhere to burn the screens. And when I say burn the screens, I'm meaning when you coat a screen with emulsion, it's light sensitive, so you can't do it in a room like this with the lights on. You can't do it outside because the emulsion will convert, and it will be useless on the screen. So you need somewhere to do that. Then you need somewhere to burn them. You need somewhere to wash them out. Do you have access to a pressure washer to shoot the screens out? You need somewhere to clean your screens, clean up the inks, shit like that. So there's a lot more to it than just getting the actual screens in the press. There's a lot of shit that goes into the setup and the cleanup and actually printing, you know what I mean? Same goes for drying. If you're just going to use a heat gun to cure the shirts, that's doable, but is it reliable? Not necessarily. It's better to get an even cure than actually going over it with the heat gun. So shit like that, you would have to look into. Heat press is easy. It's just heat press, plug it up, and then you get going. You know what I mean? Let me see. Inkscape. It's free. There you go. Inkscape is a free software. Juan Lopez. Heat press is cheaper. Heat press is cheaper. 200 bucks. You get you a heat press and you'll be in the ball game. Just get you some vinyl or something, or get some transfers made. What HTV brand do you use? I have a video about that, JR Garcia, about the brands that I use. It's grinding hours because I'm doing the same thing right now, bro. Pressing t-shirts, getting these orders out. Get them out the way while the wife and kids asleep. Very dope, Danny Cole World. That's what I'm doing. Just finished watching the All-Star game, chilling out, hanging out with my kids, and then now we're about to start pressing. I have a few orders fulfilled for the Churro brand and for another brand. Liberty Graphics, what's up? I meant to say, do you know anyone who does custom heat transfers? Yeah, a lot of different places do custom heat transfers. Like I said, you could get the list on bigbrando.com. That's every company that I use. Or hit up the homie Jason Inns. He'll get you going. Andrew Cooper, what's up? Thinking it's custom transfers. Let me see. Iconic. Jason, okay, I see what's up. Global Designs, what's up? Speaking of F&M, I have F&M's sample packet right here. The one that I wanted to try out was the multicolor fashion formula for dark colors. So I'm gonna try that shit out, see how that goes. Like I told you, when you get samples, let me just open it up. So when you get samples, this is the book. It can't come with like book with like information on their transfers and shit like that. These are the actual samples though. So let me show you guys. This is the water-based one, which is thick as fuck. Like it is. Let me see if you can see that. It's thick. I felt this in real life. It's very, very, very thick. Doubt I'm gonna use that. Here's one for nylon. Probably won't use that, but you can see that's thick as fuck too. This one's for like those reusable tote bags. Multicolor fashion formula for light colors for whites. So this one is cool because they don't use a white ink. They just use the white shirt as the background is the white, and it's just multicolor. But as you can see, they only send you one for this, right? So what I do is I cut this one little design out into like, I don't know, 8-10 squares. Just like this little piece, this piece, whatever. Because you don't need to press the whole design. You just need to press a little piece just to get your settings right. So if I wanted to try this out, I'll cut it in half right here. And then I'll cut it down. Bing, bing, bing. Get, like I said, 8-10 squares out of it. Little pieces of color, little pieces of whatever, and then I'll press it at different settings. So as I do that, since they only gave me one transfer to try out, that'll give me 10 chances to try it out at different settings to kind of lock in my own what would work, you know what I mean? And then wash it and see how it reacts. So here's full color. This is thick too. This is for like those reusable bags. Athletic formula, which is just their standard, I guess, formula. This is a full color print. See that? I don't know. It looks like a realistic helmet. You can see there's like a little shine and glow into it. Pretty legit. This is the athletic formula for their 15 cent program. This is a really thick transfer. The athletic formula is really thick. 2-color fashion formula. Not exactly sure what this is, but I'll try this out. This feels kind of thick also. It's like a little bear. You see that? Nope. Here's one that has foil. Foil formula. I'm guessing you press this and then you press this on top. I never used athletic program. So that's black and white. Pretty thick transfer also. But down here, this you could actually press this part on too. Look how the registration's off on that shit. There's like a lot of ghosting around the text doesn't look as sharp. You know what I mean? So for people that ask, like when you press a transfer and there's like that clear glow around the text or the design, that's what that is, and that's due to registration. See that? I don't think you can. The light, I could see the ghosting on there. Don't matter. This one is full color nylon. So this is a formula made for it. This is really thick, man. This shit feels heavy too. but it's actually a full color. That car that's on there, there's like, it's an actual image of a car, which is cool. This shit is performance. I'm guessing this. Yeah, I'm guessing single color program. So this shit stretches, I guess. And then this is the one that I wanted to try, is the fashion formula for darks. Last time I had got this sample packet last year, where the last 2 years from FM, I couldn't get this to lay down. Didn't matter how many times I tried, different settings, different everything. Off the press, I couldn't get it to stick. So I told them my sample, maybe you had a bad batch, but 2 years in a row having a bad batch, that's probably not that cool. So this is the one that I'm gonna try. Obviously, I'm gonna cut this little square into fours, cut this out. I'm gonna have a shitload of chances to press this on and see if I could get it to stick. This is just samples that I'm gonna try out from FM. It's gonna work. Not saying that I'm gonna use them. I just wanted to try it out because I've never had any good luck with that shit in the past for that formula. Kavamalu, what's up, bro? Haven't seen you on in a while. Rocket Prince, straight out of Chicago. What's up, Chicago? Joe Gampa, what's happening? Appreciate that about the like button. What format you save from Illustrator to open in Silhouette? I rarely do that. Use SVG files. I haven't. I usually create the shit in Photoshop, save it as a PNG, open it in the Silhouette software. That's just my own workflow. When I do shit in Illustrator, it's going to not to the I matter, you don't. Looks like they know Kavamalu. Very dope. Any recommendations on design channels? I like to get some multicolor sketches finished up and print ready. There's people like Dismajiz is dope. If you wanted to do this shit on your own and just learn how to do the shit, there's a dude on YouTube called Swerve. I think that's his name, or Swerve. I can't remember. I haven't watched this shit in a while, but he does a lot of dope design tutorials with Illustrator. Heart and Hustle Printing, what's up? C Block, what's up? Might be a better option. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of different companies. There's a lot of companies I've used that suck that I won't use again, and then there's a lot that I've used that actually work for me. You know what I mean? But some of my favorite companies, either some people have a bad experience with, or they don't like the way this shit feels, so or whatever. So it happens. You know what I mean? Let me see. Eddie's Club, good morning. What's up? Langston, I like what you do. How you just throw the knowledge out to everyone. Yeah, not a problem. Just look cutter today, the cameo next week, the heat press on my way, AC Soundwave, you on your way to make some money, man. That's fucking dope. I'm waiting for the press to heat up. It's at 350 now. I'm waiting for 377. So I'm gonna start press, just waiting it out. Whoever asked, I think it was Kava. This is from FM Expression. This is the sample packet that they send out. Say if you hit them up and say you want samples, they send it out, and it got like literature and shit on how to press and how to use their transfers, which is cool. But one is just the actual. I don't think there's prices in here. Nah, no prices. It's just actually. They have prices for multi-cut, not the gang single shit. 75 cents a sheet. Oh, but you can't gang up. $60 setup fee, minimum of 75. This one right here is the Athletic Formula, 15 cents. No minimum. This is full color, single prints, $1.15 each. Which is cool too, but I fuck with the games, just get more out of it. Because you figure So if I were to do that, I wouldn't even be able to get this on their sheet. I think the biggest size they offer on here was 9 by 12, so I wouldn't even be able to do this. But when you do it all, you get all of these on here, and you only pay a small you pay the one sheet fee, but you get a lot more on there, you know what I mean? So let me see. Like Vids BB, Tony M, that's right. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. It's free to hit the like button. Appreciate that, Heart and Hustle. What do you use to go live? I'm using an iPad right now. Yeah, to do my live shit. Hold on, let me just get this to shut up. All right. To do the live videos, I use my phone or the iPad. Right now, I'm using an iPad. For the videos, this is what I use. This is the Canon M50, and this is the Trackstar mic. This is a $20 mic, but it's pretty dope. That's the setup that I use right now. Like for the podcast and all that shit, that's the setup. Let me see. Had a horrible experience with F&M. Yeah, see what I mean? Like F&M, a lot of these transfer companies are hit or miss. You know what I mean? I have my favorites. Other people have theirs. Some people have good experiences with FM. Some people have bad ones. Obviously, there's like 2 or 3 in here that are bad ones. ERUL had a bad experience. Kava had a bad experience. Rye Beach used FM. So, you know what I mean? It's just hit or miss. The thing I don't like about FM is that you can't gang up. So you can gang up images with FM, but not on their like 15-cent program. It's the one where you just buy the gang sheets, paper print. You could gang shit up on those, but not on their like 15-cent or whatever programs they promote. So what do you prefer, screen printing or heat printing? They're both dope. It all depends on what you're trying to do. If I were to do, a big bulk order of some shit, it's easier to get them screen printed. I don't screen print from home anymore, so I would have to vend that out. You know what I mean? Doing shit from home, fulfilling orders is easy with the heat press. Using shit like this, like transfers, it's easy to fulfill from home. So there's no one that's better than the other. It's just based on what your needs are. You know what I mean? What you plan on doing, how you plan on operating your business, what your business consists of. If you're operating and running a brand and you're strapped for money, obviously doing the shit from home is going to make more sense, because if you screen printed a lot of shit, you have to screen print. I mean, you have to sell everything you print. Like these shirts that are back here, there's a totes top to bottom filled with t-shirts. I got boxes down here filled with t-shirts, and they're just blank. So what I do is an order comes in, I just pull the transfer, press it down, ship it out. You know what I mean? So say if an order comes in for this design, and then I get another one for this design, and I get one for like a totally different design, I could just pull the blank shirts, press them, and then ship them out. That's how I operate. Does everybody have to operate this way? Probably not. But there's no better than the other. Like, screen printing is good for what screen printing is for. Heat pressing is good for heat pressing. It all depends on how you're going to operate your business. You know what I mean? A lot of times people come to the channel and they just want an easy answer of me saying, do screen printing, don't do nothing else. You know what I mean? But that doesn't help anybody. So explaining to you guys that all of these are good. If you're doing vinyl, if you're doing transfers, if you're doing screen printing, they're all dope. Just know what you're using them for. You know what I mean? And you make it work for yourself. You want to increase your margins. That's the end goal. The production side of things, it doesn't really matter. It's how it's going to work for you, because everything is good quality. Vinyl is really dope if you apply it correctly. Same thing goes for Heat transfers, like plastisol transfers, are really dope when you apply it correctly. Screen printing, you might have the same issues. If it's not printed correctly or cured correctly, it's not going to work for you. So everything is in good quality. It just depends how you're going to increase your margins and what you want to offer, what works for your workflow, how you want to operate your business, how you want to run your business. You know what I mean? Looks really clean when I press it on the crew necks. First wash started showing little cracks on the edges. Damn. Yeah, that's hard, man. Best place to buy transfers for color prints. I don't know if there's a best place. There's a lot of different places that do them, but it just it all depends what you want to spend, how you want to do shit. You know what I mean? If you have my list from bigbrando.com, obviously you know who I use for multicolored prints. Um, but if you didn't even want to do that, if you didn't want to get the list, then it's just taking a wild guess on what you think would be the best, or just hit up Google Plastisol transfers, and every single company that comes up, order a sample packet, and then you find out for yourself what works best for you. You know what I mean? Zachary TV says, yes, I totally understand. I want to have my own brand, and that way I would keep all of the profit, but I would have to do the labor. Yeah, if you don't want to put in the work, by all means, you're going to have to pay somebody to print for you. But know the risk involved when you print through a screen printer. You know what I mean? When you bulk order, when you're just stocking up your inventory, know that everything printed has to be sold. You know what I mean? That's just know that there's a risk involved. If you don't know that you could sell that design, and you print it out just so you could start selling, say if you order 48 t-shirts and you only sell two, what are you going to do with the other 46 t-shirts that are already printed? That's up to you. It's either dead stock or it's just wasted money. You know what I mean? Best t-shirts depends on who you're selling to. It all depends on what your customers are used to, what your customers are used to, what it depends on what you want to offer, what you like out of a t-shirt. There's a lot of shit that goes into it, man. I could tell you, like, um, what if I just said Champion's the best, and then you figure out Champion blanks are like $9 a t-shirt, and then it's like, all right, how you gonna make money off a $9 t-shirt? It doesn't work that way. You have to figure out what you like in a t-shirt, and then you figure out what works best, what you want to offer your customers. What inkjet printer do you suggest for full color jobs? John Jackson, I don't print transfers from home at all. Um, I don't I don't use a inkjet printer for anything. How do you print multicolor with the silhouette? You would have to layer all your vinyl. So if you wanted to do like a four color print, you would have to send each color in one at a time to cut out that um, color in the design, and then you layer it when you're heat pressing. I rarely do that shit because it's time consuming and you got to register it perfect. So rarely do that with the Cameo. Let me see. All Style 1701 or 1301. Yeah. A lot of weird shit going on with All Style. A lot of weird shit going on with a lot of these t shirt suppliers. Um, All Style is, they're being sold out of, they're being distributed, I should say, through SNS. SNS used to be in Santa Fe Springs. Well, they had a distribution center in Santa Fe Springs, but now they are going to shut down Santa Fe Springs and they moved to Reno. So there's going to be a lot less places for you to pick up T-shirts. Will call coming this year. A lot of these places are closing up shop and just going to a third-party supplier to do all their distribution, which fucking sucks for a lot of us. Do you use a label printer? Yeah, I use a label printer when I ship out labels. I use the Dymo label writer. I think it's called the 4XL or some shit like that, 4X. That's the one I use. I believe you could buy those shits from like Sam's Club or Costco now, but I bought mine from Amazon, I think. Cheaper to operate out of California. Yeah, I believe that. So Reno is SNS moved to Reno, and they're now promoting 1 day shipping for everything on the West Coast. Everybody on the West Coast, um, can get 1 day shipping from SNS, which is cool. But at the same time, I used to be able to pick up an order within 3 hours. So I could place the order in the morning. By lunchtime, I could go pick the shit up myself and I would have it the same exact day. That used to be the luxury. Now that they're moved to Reno and they're not going to be in Santa Fe Springs, that shit's going to suck now. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have to stay away from that. If you print from home, do you suggest a printer? I've never had good um, success with desktop printer transfers. They always look really cheap to me. They never the colors always look muted, and I never liked the feel when you pressed it on like a dark color. So you're almost forced to print on white colors to get a vibrant print, but still it would leave that little ghosting edge around there. So I always stayed away from them. So would I suggest it? Probably not, man. I probably wouldn't suggest it because I've never had good success with it, so I wouldn't push that on nobody else. It's an option though if you wanted to test it out and see if you had better success with it. By all means, go for it. But for myself, I don't promote shit that I don't personally use, so I would hate to steer somebody in the wrong direction and say, yeah, man, just use those you know inkjet printer transfers, and you get them and they don't work. And it's kind of like, oh shit, I heard Big Brando talking about them. That's bad for me. That's bad for you. So I only talk about shit that I use. Art Life Gang been making a killing on heat transfers. That's right, man. What's happening, Diz? I run all my brands now with Plastisol transfers. Um, these churro shirts that you guys see me do is probably gonna get screen printed soon because I'm making a shitload of money on them, but it's just time consuming to be pressing them up. So I know I could sell them, so I'll probably get them screen printed soon. Um, yes, I do have a wholesale license. Yes, I do. That shit's one of the I wouldn't say it's a necessity, but I would say it helps with your margins. I use Epson Workhorse. Any of the Workhorse models that you can afford is what I use for sublimation. Joe Gampa does sublimation, very dope. What a boost! And luckily, I have a supplier in my area that sells everything from shirts, from clothing to supplies. It's called One Stop Ink. They ship worldwide. Very dope. Art Life, very very dope. For myself, I piece everything together. Like obviously, transfers out here. Not a lot of good ones in the Los Angeles area. I'll say that I found. I haven't found any good transfer companies out here, so a lot of them I have to order. What press do you have? That one back here is a Craft Pro from Heat Press Nation, and the other one that's heating up now is a Signature Series. So this one's a 9 by 13 Craft Pro. The one that's heating up is a 15 by 15. Heat Press Nation sent this out to me when that press first came out to do a video and test it out. So I still do. I use it because it heats up really fast when I'm doing a lot smaller jobs. The Signature Series is the one that I use when I'm doing a lot. Like today, I got to do, I think, 30 something t-shirts. So that one, I'm going to use the Signature Series. Let me see. Thank you for all your help. Not a problem, Zachary. About to check. Press is heated up yet. Almost. We're at 369. We need to be at 377. And then on the other side, there we go. 373 on the other side. So wait for that thing to get to 377 and then we'll start pressing. 30 joints. Yeah, I got right. Oh, actually I should do that right now. I need to cut up some rider designs. We have a lot of churro shirts going out tomorrow. So I'm gonna cut some of these up and we'll start pressing. Printing shirts for 10 years now. I'm able to just print and paint around the edges of the shirts. What is sublimation? And would you suggest plastisol if you're just starting out? Yeah, plastisol is dope whether you're starting out or you've been doing this for a long ass time. Sublimation is pretty much dyeing the fabric of polyester shirt or bag or whatever it is. So sublimation is it's dye sublimation. So what you're doing is the print is going to dye the polyester fabric to create the print. That's how you see like the shirts and shit or socks that have all over print. That's how it's accomplished. What company do you use for your plastisol heat transfers? I use a lot of different ones, Ebony. So if you wanted to know every single transfer company that I use for single color, multicolor, big sheets, little sheets, all that is on the list, bigbrando.com. If not, you could always hit up Jason Enns. He does dope transfers too. Let me see. USPS will be closed tomorrow. Man, that sucks. I want to get into printing. I watch Ray's Entrepreneur. He suggests the cheap press from Amazon. What do you think? I personally don't fuck with those ones because they're of really cheap quality. You know what I mean? It's for the same price. Like if you had $200 to spend, you could buy a press like this from Heat Press Nation, which is a heat press made by a company that makes heat presses. You know what I mean? So I believe this one's like $200. The M press is like $200. So if you had the $200 instead of buying one of those like 5-in-1s or whatever that Amazon sells, you could get something like this dedicated just making t-shirts. And then if you outgrow this, or say if you need something bigger or you need something more production wise, you could always upgrade off of the money you make off of this shit. I used to have one of those cheap Amazon presses, and one of them lasted for like 3 months, and then the other one lasted for like a year. Also, the heating element would be really spotty. You know what I mean? So that kind of sucks too. So these right here would be decent to get started on. You know what I mean? If you're strapped for cash, $200, you could get something like this. You could get the M Press. I believe the Black Series might have one for like around two something. But the Craft Pro and the M Press are around $200. But for myself, I never recommend going through that. I mean, if that's your only way, or you're getting a cheap one for like 100 something bucks, you could always upgrade later. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. But save yourself the headache. You know what I mean? And just get something that works. And that's backed. So if this one goes down or something's wrong with it, Heat Press Nation makes it easy. Their customer service makes it easy to reach out to them, help you troubleshoot or fix the issue for you. You know what I mean? Let me see. Planning on starting my heat press business this week. I'm quite excited. Metrics, very dope. Get that money, man. There's a lot of money to be made out here. $200 press. Sorry, screen printing press. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Let me see. I did my research on the Amazon presses. They don't hold up as long. I just saved up and bought the Craft Pro 15 by 15. Figure invest in the best, and I can teach my kids how to make their own shirts. Yeah, man, King Knowledge. That's all it is. And I think the 15 by 15 is like $300 or something like that, right? So if you're gonna spend 200 on a Amazon one, you could always just save up another $100 and then get one, the Craft Pro. Because the shit that's ill to me is when it comes to presses, is this shit right here, the slide out drawer, like that right there. So you're not laying the shirts down and working directly under the heat. You pull the shit out, lay the shirt down, lay the transfer on top, boom, and then slide this sucker in, and then you press it, right? That right there saves a ton of time, saves your knuckles. You're not working directly under it. So you pull this shit out, you could line the shit up perfectly straight, press it in, and get going. You know what I mean? What about size of your tables? I'm wondering if that 15 by 15 can fit on my cart stand. These tables aren't even a full 2 feet. They're, I believe, like little under, maybe like my cutting board is 18 inches and the cutting board has maybe another inch, so maybe 19 inches by 6 feet wide. So this press fits on there perfect. The Craft Pro, it fits perfect. Like it's not hanging off the edge. The other press hangs off the edge. You can see that. So this one right here, it hangs off by 3 inches. So it fits, it barely fits, but it works, you know what I mean? Let me see. Do you still do boxing sessions? I still do boxing sessions. Most of the time they're done on these live sessions. If you wanted me to record a video, there's a little clause to that because my channel gets flagged whenever I do boxing sessions like that. So it has to be in a paid sponsorship or something like that. So I do it through Patreon now. If you wanted to do a boxing session and you wanted the video to be live on the channel, then you would go through Patreon to get it done. What is the main way you sell your shirts? I sell them all online. I sell in person too, but most of the time I drive all traffic through Instagram. A little bit through Facebook, but mostly through Instagram. That press is lit. Yeah, man, this thing's cheap too. It's dumb cheap. Like cheap in price. Yeah, if you wanted to see how I sell shirts or actual real life shit, that's what Patreon for. On my Patreon, I show screenshots of everything I'm doing, how I'm selling shit, how certain marketing tactics are working. It's not fluff, it's actual I'm showing actual sales. And then for this shirt right here, this is, I never promoted this shirt, right? So this shirt's never been promoted. The only one that I promote is this one. This one is just on the site. This one's just there on the site. I've never promoted it, but I sell a shitload of that t-shirt. And that's just based off of people going to the site. So it's not me promoting it, it's people going to the site to pick it up. And then I'll try to cover this person's but that shirt is sold. That's all they bought. They didn't buy the other one. They just bought that shirt, and I've never promoted it once. So that just shows that people are going to the site to shop. They're not going because of, you know, some kind of weird trick, or I'm not paying for clicks or nothing like that. It's all free marketing. It's all free advertising, and it's driving the sales to your actual online store. So this was just, I created this churro shit. This is a better. So I created this little churro brand strictly for Patreon. So this means nothing to nobody. This is just random t-shirts that I made to show Patreon how I start and operate a full business. If you wanted to see that, if you wanted to learn how I do it or anything, you could check out the Patreon and you'll see the full start to finish on this, like me operating, me coming up with new designs, me like the whole thing, like from testing out the idea on vinyl to actually ordering transfers, where I ordered them from, how I'm doing everything. That's what the shit was created for on Patreon. That's all it was for. But this was just a test on. So this right here was just a test to show that without promotion, you don't have to promote every single shirt you do. You promote one and people go to the site to shop. This is all about conversions. It's about actually getting people to go to your online store and just put shit into the cart. You know what I mean? So think about like big brands, right? Like if you went to, I don't know, let's just say Nike. You go to the Nike site, you're going there to buy one thing, and then you see everything else that they have to offer, right? And then you're just like, oh shit, that's cool. Those are cool shoes. This is cool shit. and then you just order as you're already there and you're looking, right? That's what that was about, was just to show that you don't have to promote everything. The way that I do this shit on my own is I drive it through Instagram and I get people to go to the site and then they order and they buy and shit like that. Selling clothes is easy as fuck as long as you're willing to put in the work. That's all it is, man. That's not, it's not fucking, don't do the pay per click shit. Don't buy sponsored ads on Facebook and Instagram, and don't pay for don't pay for the what's that other shit that people do is click funnels and all that shit. Fuck all that, man. Do the shit yourself for free, utilizing hashtags and all that, and you can fucking make a ton of money, man. Like, we made a shitload of money off of these churro shirts already, and that's the only place I promoted it, was Instagram and Facebook. That's it. That's my next press. Just trying to sell more t-shirts to save it for a 15 by 15 Tony M. That's dope, man. You can always upgrade. You don't have to shoot really high. You don't have to spend a shitload of money. You can make a lot of fucking money off of these cheap presses and then upgrade later. And all you're doing is upgrading for production value. That's all it is. This signature series one is like $500, $400, and it works for what I need it to do. I could do a shitload of shirts. I could do 100 t-shirts with no issues back to back. And then once I get to about 150, that's when you start to see the heat go a little weird. And then you just shut the press off, let it cool down for like an hour, and then start it back up and start pressing again. But that's if you're doing 100 shirts straight through, you know what I mean? That's how, to me, production-wise, that shit works, man. I like that shit. So I don't have a need for the Hottronics and all that other shit yet. If the signature series ever decided to go out, I've had it for years. Excuse me. If it decided to go out, then I'd be like, oh, fuck, I need to get a new press. But until that happens, this shit works. Cool for now. What platform do you sell it through? Like Shopify store or an Etsy? I use Shopify. That's all I do. Do you do anything in music? I used to be in music a long time ago, man. Early 2000s, I used to be in music. How did you start selling t-shirts? What did you do to begin? Tony M, check out the podcast that's on my channel now. My last 2 videos will explain all of that shit for you. Go crazy with stocking shirts, just a couple of each for starters. I get orders. Joe Gampa, that's exactly how you do that shit, man. My new brand is called California Made. There's a few brands out there already named California Made, so you might get some kind of pushback or you might get some confusion. But make that money, man. Yes, I use Shopify. I just came up with 2 designs and I did a quick vinyl transfer on a hoodie and a hat just to see how it will look. That's all I use my vinyl cutter for, is just to test shit out. What percentage of your sales is shirts compared to car decals? I rarely do car decals. Everything is driven through shirts. Do you create your own vectors? Yes, I do. I create all my own designs. Also, check the used market. Got my Heat Press Nation signature press for $120 on Craigslist. Very dope. Rye Beats utilized Craigslist and he found a signature series for $120. That's dumb cheap. And that's fucking good ass advice. What's the best vinyl they use? I don't know if it's the best, but I just use Thermoflex and Caesar because it's available. I could go to Heat Press Nation, I could go to McLogan and just buy the shit and be pressing. I buy for accessibility and convenience. Not because one's better than the other, it's just I buy whatever I could get my hands on first. What company do you suggest to buy Plasol transfers now? Supply and demand, I still use all the same ones from the list. Shopify is easy to use. Shopify is the easiest to use, man. Really, I'm not computer savvy whatsoever, so creating a Shopify site on my own was easy. Changing the colors, adding the text, adding the pictures was a breeze. What's a good, easy program to use for the vinyl cutter? I only do the transfer pics. What else? Let me see. What's a good, easy program to use for the vinyl cutters? I only do the transfer pics, not vinyl yet. Okay. Every cutter comes with its own program. So the Silhouette Cameo comes with its own Silhouette Studio software. That's free. And you could get to designing and cutting from there. Have you ever heard of or used monkey prints? Chewy 916. I've never used monkey prints. Never heard of monkey prints. Sorry. You suggest using USPS for shipping? Yep, I use USPS for shipping. Is your site public to viewers or Patreon, or is it private? My actual website is public. My Patreon, the tiers are private, but general information can be found on Patreon for free. What vinyl lasts the longest? Any vinyl will last the longest as long as you apply it correctly. It's not the actual vinyl that's going bad. It's the way you apply it that makes it go bad. You know what I mean? I've been getting a lot of cracking and lifting on my transfers. What most likely am I doing wrong? A lot of things could be wrong. It could be your pressure, could be your heat. It could be a lot of different things. So a lot of that stuff has to do with you testing out whatever transfers you're using. Wash the shit after you press it at different settings, different temperatures. So right now, this is an old T-shirt, old ass T-shirt. This is an all style shirt that it's been washed a bunch of times. It's an old T-shirt. So I'm gonna test out a bunch of different transfers on here. Like I said, I'm just gonna cut the transfer into a bunch of little squares, press it on here at different settings, wash it, and then see which one holds up the best so I know what settings work best for myself. So test out transfers when you're doing it. You don't have to use the whole transfer. So say if this is the transfer that you're doing, I cut this shit up, this whole design, into like, I don't know, 8 to 10 different squares. So you cut down here and then cut through here. Then you'll be left with like little pieces, and you press it on the shirt at different temps, different pressure, different duration, and then you would wash it and then see which one holds up the best. Then you get it out the wash a few times, if you see some is cracking, some is peeling, and some is still laying down, the one that's still laying down is your recommended setting. That's the best setting for your setup. Ray, what's happening? What price range you sell your shirts? I sell them at all different prices. It all depends what you put into the t-shirt. Like if I sold something for $15 and it cost you $10 to make that shirt, and you sold it for 15, you're not making no money. You know what I mean? So you have to sell with whatever it costs for you to make. These are like there's no rule of thumb. There's no set setting on what you need to be selling your shirts at. Everybody buys shit at different prices. For me, I could buy all style t-shirt for like $250. This print right here off of that big page is probably about like 25 cents to 50 cents for this print. So I'm into the t-shirt for $3. I could sell it for 15 and I'm making $12 profit all day long, at a really low price, right? You know what I mean? Like majority of people sell their shit for like 20 to $30. I sell it for 15. I'll get a lot more customers that way, and my margins are dope. So it all depends on what it costs for you to create the shirt and pretty much put everything together. What's the name of the USPS label printer you have again? Dymo, DYMO. All you use your vinyl force testing designs earlier. So do you not use it to make the heat transfers, or did you just mean that you use it to test a lot? All I use it for is to test out designs. So say if I think of a design like this churro design right here, I thought of this. I said, oh shit, let me cut it out with my vinyl cutter, press it on a shirt, wear it out, and just test it out. See what the reaction is. See what people think. See how people react, and then that tells me if that shirt's actually worth getting transfers made, or if I scrap that design and come up with another one. Obviously, it told me a lot of people want to buy it, so I made transfers, and then now I'm just banging them out. But that's what I use I custom shirts every now and then for just word of mouth, just for friends and family that want custom shirts. But for the most part, when I'm operating these brands, I'm using Plastisol transfers. Have you ever think of screen printing your designs? I used to screen print. I don't do it no more. If you watch the last 2 videos I posted, I talk about all that shit. Do you need a specific type of vinyl for nylon, like windbreakers, or can I use Caesar? No, you need a specific type. So Caesar makes something for vinyl, but you have to buy heat transfer vinyl. You need to buy plastic salt transfers based on the material you're pressing on. So because the vinyl's made for cotton, it will not press on the vinyl. You'll fuck. I mean, it won't press to nylon. You'll fuck your nylon jacket up trying to press, you know, some cotton, because the settings will be different. You know what I mean? So you have to buy the proper HTV made for the material you're going to press on. So how do you make the transfers? I don't make transfers. I order them. These transfers right here, they're screen printed. So this right here is ink. This is a screen printed transfer. The same way you would screen print onto a t-shirt, instead of screen printing onto the t-shirt, you screen print onto a transfer paper, same exact ink, and then you press it onto the t-shirt. And it comes on sheets that are like this. So you just put a shitload of designs on one thing. You pay for this one sheet. This sheet was like $1.50, and there's all of these different prints on there. So being that you do that, you cut your costs down and you increase your margins like crazy, because you're not paying for a setup fee. You're not paying for actual design. You're just paying one print fee, and then you cut them all out like this. Like these came off of the same sheet, so these were on the same exact sheet, just cut out now with scissors, and then you press it onto the shirt. I remember subscribing to you when there was only a few hundred people. Kavamalu's been with us since the beginning, man. I appreciate you, brother. I was under the impression that you do everything on the vinyl cutter. No, I don't do everything on the vinyl cutter matrix. But like you said a while back about the shirt you got from Harley Davidson, they had it priced high when, like you said, it didn't take that much to make. Denise Duarte, that's it, man. Like, this is a Harley Davidson sweater. This sweater, I think, retails for like $60 or some shit like that. And obviously, it's just on a regular blank that we use. Like, if you've seen it in my, when I showed the Harley Davidson t-shirt, it was on an all-style 1301 t-shirt. $2 t-shirt. And they're selling shit, I think it was priced at like $30, $35. Obviously, it was dumb cheap to make, but you're paying for the print, the logo, shit like that. You know what I mean? Does Shopify take a percentage of each sale? Yes, they do. You're paying for them to process the credit card. You're not going to be able to process credit cards on your own. So that percentage is based off of, you know, them processing the credit card. How else would you process a credit card transaction? You would need to pay somebody to do it. So that's what Shopify does, is you pay monthly, and then per transaction you pay, I don't know, dumb cheap, like 30 cents or something like that. Like, I think for a $15 t-shirt, you end up bringing in $14.60 or something like that, $14.62. So maybe 40 cents, some shit like that. It's really very inexpensive. C Corp or S Corp. Not exactly sure what that is. Who do you go through for pre-made transfers? These are the screen printed transfers. I get a shitload. I use a shitload of different companies. If you wanted to know what companies I use, you could check out the list on bigbrando.com. Where do you order them from? Same thing. Go to bigbrando.com and check out the list, and that'll tell you every single company that I use. Zaya Arts, not a problem. Appreciate you for watching. S. Berg joined late. Might be your lighting, but can't see the transfers on your press. Can't see the transfers on your press. These? It's because it's white ink. It's white ink on a white page. It's probably hard to see because of that. Where did you get the screen printed transfers? Check out bigbrando.com and then check out the list. What's the difference between the ink and the vinyl? Like, how does it hold up in the wash? Holds up good. Like I said, it's all in your application. That's all it is. It all depends how you apply it. Just because, like, when you buy vinyl and it says press it at, I don't know, 350 for 8 seconds, and you do 350 at 8 seconds. This right here is a laser thermometer. Right now my press is reading at 377. it's showing 375. So obviously it's off. You know what I mean? This is going to give you an accurate read. The readout isn't going to be accurate all the time. Same goes for pressure. You're dialing the pressure down by a knob. There's no way to gauge PSI on this, on how much pressure is coming down. So in the application phase, you have to test out your settings and get the right exact setting that works for your setup. With that being said, once you press something down, you wash it and you test the shit out, right? You have to know what you're going to offer your customers. Same goes for screen printing. Like, just because something's screen printed doesn't mean it's going to last forever. If they didn't cure that shirt correctly, it's going to crack on the first wash. I'm pretty sure you've seen screen printed t-shirts that you bought from the mall or the store that cracked really fast, and that's because it was over cured and it wasn't done correctly. Same goes for us as brand owners. You want to know what you're offering your customer, right? You want to know what the end user is going to go through, how it's going to hold up in the wash, so you could be confident in selling it and saying, all right, when you wash this shirt, because I know I washed this motherfucker 10 times, I washed it this way, it held up like this. You put the recommended settings in your tags. If they don't go by that and they do some other crazy shit and it starts to mess up and they come back to you, you at least know I washed this shit 10 times this way, the same exact way I told you. It's like when somebody has something that needs to be dry cleaned only and they put it in the washing machine and it gets fucked up. Whose fault is that? It's not the company's fault because it didn't hold up in the wash. They said dry clean only. You know what I mean? So as brand owners, you have to know what you're offering your customers. Because if you offer them something that you didn't test out and you just think it's just because I pressed it, it's gonna hold up, and they come back to you and say, hey, this motherfucker's peeling or this thing's coming off, that's because you didn't do your due diligence on figuring out the best settings. That's all it is. So when you do this shit, test it out. Figure out what works best, what's gonna hold up. You know what I mean? It might take some time to do. Obviously, you're gonna be washing a lot of clothes. Anytime a load goes in, just throw your shit in there, and that's it. You have to understand that you're a business and your reputation, everything is behind your brand. You know what I mean? So imagine somebody that opens a fucking, they know they make good food, but the food that they put out is crap and Yelp kills them opening weekend. You think people are going to read those Yelp reviews and take the chance and say, oh, let me just give them a chance myself? No, because the bad press is going to fuck you up. So say if you made some shirts for somebody, you didn't test out your shit, and you just gave them whatever you thought was going to be cool just because it laid down after you pressed it, they put it on and the shit's peeling or fucking up. Obviously, they're going to be like, oh, I got this shirt from so-and-so. That so-and-so, I mean, the people they're telling aren't going to come back to you to buy shirts. You know what I mean? Because shit's fucked up. So understand as business owners what you're offering and how you apply something. It's not the material. It's not because vinyl or because it's ink or it's screen printed or whatever it is. It's all in the application phase. It just comes down to you and what you're doing. Plastisol transfers hold up good because they're ink if you apply them correctly. Heat transfer vinyl holds up really good as long as it's applied correctly. If it's applied fucked up, it's going to peel, it's going to crack, it's going to fall off. That it's rendered useless. You know what I mean? So it's not in vinyl or ink or whatever it is. You just have to be able to apply the shit right. That's all it is. That's what it comes down to. So let me see. Who do you go through for screen printed transfers? Check out the list on bigbrando.com. Much love from Chicago. Will, what's up, Chicago? How often are you posting your BSing with Brandon series? It was dope to hear how you got started. Planning on doing them 2 or 3 times a week. I'm going to record the next one tonight. It'll probably be up tomorrow sometime. The Patreon people get it right when it's uploaded. So they get it maybe 2 or 3 days before it actually goes live on YouTube. Jesse Sotelo. Harley Davidson means $100 bills. That's right. Thanks for the info. Not a problem. Should you transfer the cost of the credit card transaction fee to the customer? Nah, I don't. I sell a shirt 15 bucks, and if it costs me 30 cents to process that transaction, I'll eat the 30 cents. Like 30 cents, if you're selling multiple shirts, you don't feel that 30 cents whatsoever. You know what I mean? Abacata Clothing. I think that's the name, bro. Thanks for the free content. So for the pressure, should it be max? I usually max my shit out. A lot of people don't like to do it because they feel it leaves a box around there, the square of the press. You have to remember that a lot of these shirts, like let's see, hold on, let me grab this shit real quick. So a lot of these shirts come wrinkled as fuck. You see that? Now imagine you pressing this shit, right? You're gonna press here. It's like ironing something, right? So it's gonna be wrinkle free as a big square. People hold it up and they're like, hey, why is there a big square? It's not because it's scorched or anything. It's just because it's been ironed out in that square. So people always freak out and like, oh man, I'm getting a box around all my shit. If this is the regular color of the shirt, and say if the square is like a really dark color because you burnt it, or if it's orangish brown, that means you burnt the shirt. There's no help in that. But if it's just because it's a square that size every week making all those gains, yeah, man. Or it's going down because the dude's getting skinny. Does pre-washing a shirt affect the outcome of the HTV press? I don't pre-wash none of my shirts. I press them brand new. The only time that I do wash them is if it's a shirt that I'm just testing out. You know what I mean? But what can happen is there could be moisture left in the t-shirt, not to the touch, but just moisture in it due to humidity, due to a lot of different things. You know what I mean? And that could ultimately affect the way something is pressed down. Get an email, the link to download the PDF. I bought the business off of his site. King Knowledge, I appreciate that, man. When ordering your transfers, what sizes do you order to fill your gang sheet? I do them all different sizes. Like this shit is probably, I designed just by looks. So this is a random ass size. This is 9 1/8. Not even sure why I did it, a 9 1/8 wide. That's what that is. This one is like 13 inches wide or something like that, or 12 and 3/4. 12 and 3/4. So I'm not exactly sure why this one is this size. I just do it off of feel. Sometimes if I was doing these and I was putting them on a gang sheet and then I wanted to fit one more thing on there, like say I wanted to fit like another one of these, right? This came off the same sheet too. This is the hand. So say if I wanted to fit another one of these on, sometimes I'll just shrink it down a little just to get it to fit the sheet. But I'm not set on sizes of designs. I just design by feel, what I think would look cool. How do you do events? Do you take your press with you? Nope. I press everything at home and then I bring it over there in these boxes back here. Like these boxes, they flip down. So I could just grab the shirt out of there, I'll fold them up, put them in there, and then I have those behind the table where I'm vending at, and then pull them down. Same with hats. So say, let me try to grab this out of here. So this is how I vend with hats. So I have hats like this. When it comes in, I flip it down, pull the hat out. You know what I mean? So this is how I vend hats. T-shirts are in boxes like that. These boxes you can find at the Container Store. They're actually shoe boxes, but obviously they work perfect for hats. See? So that's how I vend when I'm out at an event. I bring shit like that. They stack. That shit stacks, so it's easy for me to just box them up and bring them like wherever I'm vending it. You know what I mean? Do you charge for shipping? I charge the customer for shipping. So shipping USPS priority is like $6 around the country. Charge them $6. Did you continue to use Jason N's Plastisol transfers? Yeah, I use Jason N's. I still use all the companies in the book. The way I go off of ordering transfers, it's due to deadline, price when I'm ordering different shit, maybe transfer sheet size. So it all depends. Watch the video where you tried out his transfers. You seem pretty happy with them. Yeah, so the list was made back in 2016, I think. I still use all of those same vendors, but Jason N's probably didn't start making transfers until 2017. So that's why he didn't make it on the list, but that's pretty much all it is. So I still use him. I use a lot of different companies, but that's it. The stream's down. Not exactly sure. I thought it was working. Started a brand and it's kind of booming. Is it okay if you give me a feedback? Here's my Instagram. Abacata, the best way to do it is to tag me on Instagram. All you gotta do is tag me on Instagram and then check it out. How do you make those hats? I get them embroidered. I don't personally do it, but I get them embroidered. Is it worth doing multicolor as Plastisol gang sheets? You can pick this up at Home Depot, Harbor Freight, Amazon. I bought this on Amazon for like $7, some shit like that. As far as gang sheets multicolor, it's way easier to get them done that way through Plastisol transfer than it is anywhere else. You know what I mean? Because if you do it anywhere else, it's gonna be you pay per screen per color, right? So if it's a 6-color design, you're going to be paying for 6 different setup fees, 6 different screens, 6 different prints. With these transfers, you just pay the one sheet. So if you did 4 different multicolor designs on one sheet, you're only paying for that one sheet, not a bunch of different ones. So that's how you kind of make it work for you, more bang for your buck, if you will. All right, I'm gonna cut these transfers out because we gotta start pressing. Scissors at. So we're gonna bang out a couple of these. I get few people hit me up every now and then for doing transfer jobs, shit like that. I do a lot of stuff for car clubs, motorcycle clubs. So when I have the opportunity to do something like that, I'll gang up a shitload of stuff on there. So say if the car club or motorcycle club only wants one design of something, they want 100 of them made, and I have all this extra room on the gang up sheet, I'll throw my own designs on there because they're already paying for it. So it's like me getting free prints. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Right now I'm just cutting out transfers. I'm about to press some shirts up. Get this motherfucker rolling. Got a few churro shirts I need to bang out, and I got a few from one of my other brands. And I got a bunch of churro designs I got to knock down too. So I think the live stream might have fucking died. Maybe it didn't, but I have a feeling it did. Oh, there it goes. Rye Beach uses a Harbor Freight laser gun. You can get them pretty much from anywhere. You don't have to get the big expensive ones if you don't want. As long as you could get a pretty good reading, that's all that matters, you know what I mean? Can't always depend on the readout, because you're not going to get an accurate reading every single time. Turn this around, start pressing. Do you have a setup? Do you have to set up multiple accounts to make websites for your different brands on Shopify? It all depends on how you're going to operate. You know what I mean? If you're running 3 different brands with 3 different EINs, obviously it would make sense to separate all of them. If they're all under the same EIN, you could do the same site, but then just forward different domains to it. To different collections, or you could do multiple different sites with different accounts. It all depends on how you want to set up. Use the coupon. Yeah, Harbor Freight has coupons every week. You can buy shit like this for dumb cheap. Do you time block your week for t-shirts? Yeah, I do 2 hours a day. If I could do more, I do it. If not, 2 hours a day works perfect for my own system, because obviously I work a full-time job. I have a family, so I section off my time to make sure I spend 2 hours a day doing business-related shit. That's not YouTube. That's just designing, fulfilling orders, pressing shirts, cutting transfers, shit like that. You know, even if it's just thinking of marketing strategies, I make sure I sit down for 2 hours a day and do actual business related shit. Sometimes I have to take a day off of work to get caught up on orders. Yeah, man, that kind of shit happens. But for myself, like when I run other brands besides the Churro one, because shit's been crazy, is I ship out only on Mondays and Thursdays. So the rest of the week I'm just pressing the shirts and getting them ready, and then I bring them to the mailbox or to the post office on Mondays and Thursdays. What hat brand and number do you use for flat bill snapbacks? Got a customer wanting Richardson 112 and some flat bill, same style. I don't know about Richardson. I use FlexFit. I don't know the model number. It's the Yupong 6-panel classic snapback. I use Decky's classic snapback. The only thing I could help you with is the acrylic ones. I don't use the cotton ones. I use acrylic. All right, I'm going to start pressing some shirts. So I'm going to get this thing spun around so you can kind of see what's going on here. Yupong Classic. Yeah, that's the one that I use. There you go. See that? Shout out to the Big Ripper in the back. Pressing up on some all-style t-shirts. There you go. Where'd my gun go? Oh, here you go. Cool, 377. This side is 376. Good to go. This size large. This is the transfer. Shout out to the LA Riders. First thing I do is I crease up the design. Obviously, I don't go to the edge of the paper. I go design to design. So edge of the design to this edge. Then I only crease the top, crease the bottom. So now I have a true center of the actual design. Pre-press for a few seconds. Right now I'm just going 3 fingers down from the collar. Then I'm laying it down. I hold it down because the auto open thing pops really hard. It's gonna be knocking tools off my fucking wall. So just to overwrite the auto open feature. There you go. And this is Plastisol transfer, not what's it called? It's Plastisol transfer, not vinyl. This is another size large. This is going to be a front and back hit. We're going to be pressing on my LA Anarchy design. Pre-press, no steam. Doing this kind of shit, I talk about this all the time, but you're going off of the peaks right here. Try to raise the light up. So the U-shaped t-shirt, right? On the collar, there's peaks right here. I go off of the peaks. Straight down, 4 fingers, is where I'm going to lay down the left chest print over the heart print. 4 fingers down. Front print. Once again, just folding the transfer over so you guys can see that shit. Gives you the center. Then for the back hit, we just go pretty much to the top. LA Anarchy, Los Angeles Rider hit on the back. Done. Same thing with some of these black t-shirts. Front hit. Free press. No steam. Creased up the design. See that? Boom, there's a crease. Three fingers down from the top. Front hit LA Riders. Same thing. Trying to make this thing not as boring. Probably press a couple more, get into these churro shirts, and then call it on the live feed, just so it's not as boring of just watching somebody press shirts all day. Front hit LA Anarchy. Knock down this back print. Then get into some of these churro shirts. Go back through here and read some of these comments after I get done with this one. There you go. There's the back and the front. Let me see. Let me see. Yupong is the 6606. There you go. Collection ideas save money since I'm just starting and I can target different markets to see what works best. There you go. Exact number is for the flat bill type, but check the suppliers. So let me see. This one right here. It's Yupong. Yupong Classic. It's the acrylic and wool one. If you can see that. Has the gray underbill. I mean the green underbill. You go Ohana over everything. But that's and then also I use the what the fuck is those other hats at? Also, I use these Humble But Hungry. This is made by Decky. This is 100% acrylic. iPad ain't focusing in. It's 100% acrylic. Maybe this number will help you out. 350 black. I don't know if that helps. But these are made by Decky. So I use a bunch of different ones, man, but that's one of the main ones that I use is those Yupongs and then the Decky. Let me see. So which company for snapbacks? There you go. Yupong and Decky work for me. Michael Camacho, what's happening? Are you shooting more design videos? Yeah, most of the design ones get uploaded to Patreon. Once the shit dies down with this churro shit, then I'll start banging out more videos, but it's just taking up a lot of my time right now. Do you find any limitations with a 15 by 15 press? Not sure which to buy, 16 by 20 or 15 by 15. If you feel you're going to be designing bigger than 15 inches, obviously get a 16 by 20. If you don't think you'll design anything bigger than a 15 inch, then 15 by 15 works perfect. Our 5-in-1 heat press is just as good. I don't really like messing with the heating element on any of those. You know, going from standard heat press to hat press to all that kind of shit. So I stay away from them. I've never personally used them, so I can't speak on it. But those are my reasons why I stay away from them. Did you ever finance any kind of printing equipment? No, I just bought it straight up. I always feel none of my businesses I start out like that. I save up money like everybody else to do this shit because I feel if you have to take out a loan or finance something, you're starting out in the hole. So instead of digging your way out of a hole, you start out, you save up some money and you invest in yourself. And then that way you just make money and it's all profit. You're never, digging yourself out, paying that loan back. You know what I mean? Financing all that shit. I kind of just stay away from. All right, I'm about to bang out some churro shirts now. I don't know if you guys want to watch that shit. If you did, cool. If not, by all means, I'm probably gonna cut this out. We did like an hour and a half already, but appreciate everybody. You know what I mean? Rye Beat said, "Don't get the all-in-one. Good value for about a year, but get the proper equipment when you save up." Appreciate that advice. I've never did the 5-in-1s or shit like that, but sounds like Rye Beats has tried it out before. I just feel weird about taking the heating element off and then putting another one on. Just, disconnecting, connecting, disconnecting, connecting just seems like it would fuck shit up. So that's why I stayed away from it. It's my own personal opinion though. Catch you guys on the next one. If you wanted to rewatch this live session, by all means, you can go to Patreon. That's where I save them and upload them to. If not, I'll catch you guys